So welcome back to Discovering Natural Wine. We are here again with Morgan.
Hello.
And today we're going to talk about Petnat and Les Chaos White as an excellent option, to learn about natural wines. All right, so...
And it's Le Chaos. Should have told you that.
What did I say?
Les.
All right, start over. All right. Le Chaos. All right,
Le Chaos. This is Le Chaos. This is actually made by Anne and Noelle. They're best friends. They're in their 30s. They're young women. One of them, Noelle, I believe, is actually from Orlando, which is pretty awesome to have that tagline between us.
We like.
We do.
Yeah.
And they wanted to get together and make wines in California that spoke to the wines that were made pre-industrialization and before all the kind of, we talked in the last video about kind of the heavy manipulation of the land, whether that's, herbicides, fungicides, all of those and the like, but also in all the way through to the winemaking process as well. So this is kind of a fun look at something that I don't think they saw coming, and kind of the Le Chaos speaks to that.
This doesn't even seem traditional at all, so I'm excited to hear about it.
Yeah, because what they were thinking about making was these like big bold reds and kind of walk it back to the start, which kind of almost reads more like Bordeaux as well, like old school Bordeaux. And so they were going to make a red and they were going to make a rosé, and so they started to make a rosé. They were bleeding off the wine, and then they didn't get the right color that they wanted, and they were like, okay, we were going to make a cider on the side for ourselves. Let's take that Gravenstein juice, rehydrate this, and then they decided to let it ferment till it was like completely dry. The wine was dry and not sweet wine, and then they decided to make a pét-nat out of it. Pét-nat is a half sparkling wine.
So this is a pét-nat, and I'm familiar with pét-nats, but can you just get into the difference between what natural sparkling wine is versus a champagne or a more traditional prosecco? Or
there's a wide array of sparkling wine, or there's a wide array of how you can make a wine sparkling, but basically all wine starts as sparkling wine because it's going through fermentation, and fermentation is causing that CO2. So if you let that kind of evaporate off into the air, then you're just going to have your still wine.
Okay.
But it's about how the different ways that they trap the wine. They trap the CO2. Sorry.
Yeah.
In this particular case, basically they're allowing the wine to do its fermentation thing, and then at some point they're going to move it into a bottle while it's still fermenting, and then top it. You have to really know what you're doing, because if you close it too soon, then the bottle will explode because the fermentation is still going. Or if you wait too long, then you end up with a still wine.
Okay.
But with champagne, they're going through two fermentations. So they're making the base still wine, and then they're restarting the fermentation with a little dosage or mixture of yeast and sugar.
Yeah, the champagne process is crazy for anybody who doesn't know that one, and it's very obvious why you have a crazy headache after you drink too much champagne, which is not similar to the pét-nat experience. I can drink this for days and wake up feeling perfect.
And that's they're not using they're not using anything other than the native yeast that grows out on the grapes in the vineyard.
Yeah.
And that's what's starting and finishing the fermentation. They're not using other
and
sources.
I've found with pét-nats, if you tell somebody sparkling wine, they have an expectation that it's going to be like when you pour champagne in a flute, and it's just that constant effervescence in a very consistent fashion, and that's not really the case, but it is still a very exciting, bubbly experience with pét-nats generally. So
they're often more fresh, and they're bright, and sometimes because of the nature of the fermentation kind of still happening in the bottle, we're still getting sediment. So there will be some pét-nats that got a lot of sediment at the base because they were finishing the fermentation here. So I always like to say choose your own adventure. If you want to kind of have it, you'll see it'll be clear at the top and then kind of thicker at the bottom usually, and you can kind of slowly roll and integrate those sediment particles back into the wine to get a more texture experience. Or you can drink something that's more lean and plain. And then this is fun to talk about because this is not just grapes. This is also wildly foraged feral apples coming from Sonoma, sourced from the boys from Bordeaux.
Okay.
So it's Gravenstein apples, about 75%, and then 25% of Sauvignon Blanc.
Reverse that.
No.
You said 25% Sauvignon Blanc,
It is
right?
25%. 75% apples.
Oh, well, then you told me originally. It's fine. We're not arguing. Sorry.
We never argue. We never argue.
We never argue. What we argue about.
Yeah. 75-25.
So you want to talk about the label because Taro.
Yeah, because Taro. Because why not?
Taro, why not?
Yeah, so they had found this book from the 1700s, the original book on what Taro is. And Jean-Baptiste Itella, I think was the guy's name, who created the tarot deck of cards. And so they have a friend who's a tattoo artist that they love. They wanted to kind of pay homage to that, and then each wine kind of speaks to a different tarot card.
All right.
So the Sauvignon Blanc from this, they press off into a wine called Remy. which means remedy.
How do we get that?
Oh, it's a hard one to
That's
get.
a hard one to get.
Uh-huh.
Well,
We
we'll
got
see
it.
we got to promo their shit a little bit more, I
It's
guess.
so good. But it's passion fruit. It's like crazy fresh passion fruit, little guava. So it's fun whenever you see like 25% of this wine having like a sneak peek at that wine.
Yeah.
It's really gonna be fun to taste.
Yeah, it would be super sick. Okay.
Just kidding.
All right, so we're gonna uncork this thing and definitely serve this chilled. If you have a Petnat, any sparkling wine, chilled.
Here they go.
She did tell me it was gonna
Can you
do
zoom
this.
in on this?
She told me it was gonna do that because it's not cold.
We mentioned this.
This looks great. This looks like we just are celebrating
We are.
generally celebration. It's what these wines are about.
Yes.
It's what life's about.
It's a little chaotic.
Le chaos. All right.
Those bubbles.
Oh, you gotta stir it?
No, you don't. You don't.
Right,
But
okay.
you can.
Cheers. Okay, so very cider forward on the nose there.
Totally. But you can kind of get
And
like
super
a hint.
dry. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, you can get like a hint of that kind of guava in there.
Guava?
Yeah, because the Sauvignon Blanc is it punches you in the face with mango, guava, passion fruit.
Okay.
But it's sneaky in there.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yes, I got like the more citrusy, like tropical fruit notes on the back there. That's good. Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely a dry.
That's Greg. Hey, Greg.
Greg, that's Greg.
That's Greg. We got a lot of Greg action going on. That's delicious.
The
Okay.
Gravenstein apples, so like kind of like a green apple kind of kick in the back end.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crisp. This
That's-
is something I really want like
That's super good.
at the
Yeah.
Thanksgiving table for sure. And the red, do you have the red anymore?
I had the red on Monday,
Oh.
and I don't have it anymore. But it was delicious. The red
Find
is
some
the
more.
red is the juicy berry version of this. If this is tropical fruit forward, like more citrusy, that one is a little bit more strawberry, raspberry, and equally sexy.
And
Yeah.
that was Carignan in that one as well.
Carignan, of course. Oh, excellent. I'm going to pull myself a little bit more here.
For the bits.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for taking the time explaining not only about Le Chaos and the wonderful makers, but also Petnat generally, because I think really getting people to experience the sparkling wine, not champagne, not Prosecco, not, what's the Spanish one?
Cava.
Not cava, is tremendous because you can enjoy 2 of these bottles for every 1 bottle of Moet. I don't know, but whatever. It's a whole nother thing. So
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah,
Definitely. Thank
always
you
a
so
pleasure
much.
having you here. Yeah,
I absolutely love coming. Love
Thanks.
being here.
me too. Cheers.
Salud.
Yeah, it's great.
Delish. No, you're right. It's not so bad when it's warm.
No, it's not. It's just you just have to lower your standards a little.